She had every boy chasing her. So why did she choose the one no one could even remember? It happens in the middle of lunch. Noise everywhere. Laughter. Confessions. Chaos. And in the far corner of the cafeteria, he sits alone. Same seat. Same silence. Same routine. No one talks to him. No one even looks at him. Until she does. She walks straight toward him. Not hesitating. Not slowing down. Every eye in the room follows her. Because she doesn't do this. She doesn't walk up to random boys. She doesn't break her perfect image. And she definitely doesn't stop right in front of him. He doesn't notice at first. He's staring down at his tray, picking at food he's not really eating. Then a shadow falls over him. He looks up and freezes. Her voice is calm. Too calm. Can you go out with me? Silence. The entire cafeteria stops breathing. Someone drops their fork. A chair scrapes loudly across the floor. No one laughs. Because this isn't funny. This is impossible. He blinks. Once. Twice. Sorry what? She doesn't repeat herself. She just stares at him, like she's waiting, like this is normal. His heart starts racing. This has to be a mistake. A prank. A misunderstanding. There's no way she's talking to him. Why me? He asks, barely above a whisper. For the first time, her expression shifts. Not softer, not kinder, just unreadable. Because you're safe. That word lands wrong. Heavy. Strange. He frowns slightly. Safe. She nods once. You don't have expectations. You don't cause problems. You won't misunderstand things. A pause. Then, I need someone like that. Now people are whispering. Phones are already out. Someone's recording. Because this is going to spread. Fast. He feels it. Every stare. Every judgment. And suddenly, he wants to disappear again. But she's still standing there. Still waiting. I'm not asking for something real, she adds. Her voice lowers just enough for only him to hear. This is just practice. Practice. The word doesn't make sense. Not yet. A practice, boyfriend? He repeats slowly. She nods again. No feelings. No pressure. No complications. Her eyes lock onto his. You just act like my boyfriend. His chest tightens. This isn't a confession. It's something else. Something colder. Why me? He asks again. This time his voice shakes. She exhales softly, like she expected that question. Because you won't fall in love with me. That one hits harder than anything else. He goes quiet. Not because he agrees, but because he doesn't know what to say. Around them, the whispers grow louder. She's joking, right? Is this some kind of punishment? Why him? He hears all of it. Every word. And it burns. She doesn't react. Doesn't care. Her focus stays on him. I'll end it whenever I want, she continues. No drama. No misunderstandings. A small pause. Just something temporary. Temporary. Disposable. Easy. He should say no. He knows that. Anyone would. But then, he remembers something. The way people walk past him every day like he's not there. The way teachers forget his name. The way conversations stop before they even reach him. And now, for the first time, someone is looking directly at him, waiting for his answer. His throat tightens. Okay. The word slips out before he can stop it. The moment it does, the room erupts. Gasps. Laughter. Shock. Someone shouts, no way. Another voice. He actually said yes. But she doesn't react. Not to them. Only to him. A small, satisfied nod. Good. Then she reaches out and grabs his hand. It's warm. Soft. Real. And for a second, everything else disappears. Then let's start now, she says. He doesn't pull away. He doesn't speak. He just stands there, holding the hand of the girl everyone wants. But something feels off. Wrong. Unbalanced. Because while his heart is racing like this is everything, her expression doesn't change at all. To her, this is nothing. And that's the problem. Because he already knows. He's not going to treat it like nothing. Not even close. And the moment he realizes that, it's already too late. Because the practice has already begun. And he's the only one who doesn't know how it ends. That same day, she sets her first rule. A rule that sounds simple, but quietly guarantees one thing. He's going to get hurt. She doesn't let go of his hand until they're outside. Not in the hallway. Not in front of anyone. Only when the doors close behind them and the noise fades. Then she finally releases him, like it meant nothing. He stares at his hand for a second, like the warmth is still there, like it shouldn't be. Follow me, she says. No hesitation, no explanation. He does. Of course he does. They walk across the courtyard. Students are already watching from windows. Phones pressed against glass. Whispers spreading faster than they can move. He feels exposed, like he's walking into something he doesn't understand. And she walks like nothing has changed. They stop under a quiet stairwell. Hidden enough, private enough. She turns to him, and for the first time, her expression softens, just slightly. We need rules, she says. Rules. Not feelings. Not questions. Rules. He nods slowly, trying to keep up. She raises one finger. First rule. No falling in love. It lands heavier now. Not like before. Now it feels targeted. He forces a small nod. Okay. But his chest tightens. Because something about the way she said it felt less like a rule and more like a warning. Second rule, she continues. No jealousy. He blinks. Jealousy. I'll still talk to other people. Go out with friends. Maybe even accept confessions. She watches his reaction carefully. You don't get to interfere. That one stings. More than it should. Right, he says quietly. Third rule. She pauses. Longer this time. No acting like this is real. Silence. He looks at her. Really looks this time. There's something behind her eyes. Something she's not saying. What does that mean? He asks. Her gaze shifts slightly. Just for a second. It means, she says slowly, you don't get attached. There is again. That distance. That wall. Like she's already expecting him to cross a line and preparing to push him back. He swallows. And you? The question slips out before he can stop it. She tilts her head slightly. Me? Do you get attached? He asks. For a moment. She doesn't answer. Then she smiles. It's perfect. Polished. Practiced. No, she says. And just like that, the conversation ends. Any questions? She adds. He has 100, but none of them feel safe to ask. So he shakes his head. Good. She steps closer. Close enough that he can see the small details. The way her eyes flicker. The way her breathing shifts. Then let's make it believable, she says. Before he can react, she grabs his arm, pulls it gently around her waist. His body freezes. Relax, she whispers. If you're stiff, people will notice. Her voice is softer now, almost teasing. Look at me. He hesitates, then does. Big mistake, because now she's too close. Close enough that he can feel her breath. Close enough that everything else disappears again. Smile, she says quietly. I don't really do that, he admits. She studies him for a second. Then, she smiles instead. Bright, effortless, dangerous. Then I'll do enough for both of us. And suddenly, it looks real. From the outside, they look like a perfect couple. And that's exactly the problem. Because the more real it looks, the harder it becomes to remember. It isn't. Footsteps echo above them. Voices getting closer. She immediately shifts, leaning slightly into him, like she belongs there. Someone's coming, she murmurs. Act natural. Natural, right? His heart is pounding so loud he's sure they can hear it. A group of girls passes by the stairwell. They glance down and freeze. Oh my God, is that her? With him. More whispers. More phones. She doesn't move. Doesn't flinch. She just tightens her grip on him slightly. And for a split second, he feels something different. Not fake. Not practiced. Something real. But it's gone just as fast. The girls leave. The noise fades again. She steps back immediately. Distance restored. Like a switch flipped off. Good, she says calmly. That was convincing. Convincing. He nods slowly, trying to ignore the way his chest feels heavier now. Let's walk back, she adds. Side by side. Not touching. Not close. Like strangers again. And that's when it hits him. This isn't a relationship. It's a performance. And he's the only one who forgot it was acting. As they step back into the crowded hallway, someone calls her name. A boy. Confident. Popular. Familiar. She turns instantly. Her expression changes again. Brighter. Warmer. Hey, the boy says, smiling. Are you free after school? The question hangs in the air. He watches her, waiting, without meaning to. And then she smiles back. Maybe, she says. And just like that, the first crack appears. Because for him, that one word changes everything. That evening, she sends him a message. A simple one, but it breaks one of her own rules. It makes him question everything she said earlier. That night, his phone lights up. He almost ignores it, because no one texts him. No one ever has. But something feels different. He reaches for it slowly, like it might disappear if he moves too fast. Unknown number. His chest tightens. Then the message loads. Save my number. No greeting. No explanation. Just that. He stares at it, waiting. Another message comes in. We need to act natural even outside school. His fingers hover over the screen. This breaks a rule. She said no acting like it's real. No getting attached. No unnecessary interaction. So why is she texting him first? He types slowly, carefully. Okay. He hesitates, then adds, is this part of the practice? 3 dots appear instantly, then disappear, then appear again. His heart starts racing. Finally, a reply. Don't overthink it. He exhales, not relieved, not confused, just more uncertain. Another message comes in. Call me. He freezes. Call? They didn't talk about this. This wasn't part of the rules. His thumb hovers over the button. Then, he presses it. It rings once, twice. Then, hello. Her voice. But it's different. Quieter. Softer. Not the voice she uses at school. He doesn't speak right away. You're slow, she says, but there's no bite in it. Sorry, he replies. A pause. Then, did it feel strange? She asks. What? Today. The question is simple, but it isn't. He thinks about it. The cafeteria. Her hand. The way everyone looked at him. Yeah, he admits. Another pause. Longer this time. Good, she says quietly. He frowns slightly. Good. If it felt natural, people wouldn't believe it. There it is again. This is still a performance to her. Even now. But then, her tone shifts. Just slightly. But you did well, she adds. That catches him off guard. I did. A soft sound. Almost like she's smiling. You didn't mess anything up. Something about that. Sticks. No one has ever said that to him before. Not like this. Not so simply. Thanks, he says. Silence. But it doesn't feel awkward. It feels different. Like neither of them knows what to say next. But neither wants to hang up. Tomorrow, she says suddenly. His attention sharpens. We'll eat lunch together again. Again. Okay. And after school. She pauses. We might go out. His heart skips. Out. Don't misunderstand. Her tone sharpens slightly. It's just part of the practice. Of course it is. Right? Another silence. Then, are you nervous? She asks. He laughs quietly, before he can stop himself. Yeah. Why? Because it feels real. Because he's already breaking her rules. Because every second with her makes it harder to pretend. But he doesn't say any of that. I'm just not used to this, he answers. She hums softly. You'll get used to it. The way she says it sounds like a promise. Or a warning. I won't, he thinks, but doesn't say. Instead, okay. Another pause. Then, good night, she says. Good night. The call ends. And just like that, the silence returns. But it's not the same anymore. Because now, his phone feels heavier. Like something has changed. He looks at the screen again. At her name. Saved. Real. And for the first time, his world feels different. Not bigger. Not better. Just not empty. The next day, everything moves faster. She sits next to him at lunch. Like it's normal. Like it's always been this way. People stare. Of course they do. But this time, he notices something else. She talks more. Not loudly. Not dramatically. But she fills the silence. Eat properly, she says at one point. People will notice if you don't. He nods. You didn't eat much yesterday either. He blinks. She noticed that? I wasn't hungry, he lies. She watches him for a second. Then, don't lie. Simple. Direct. And somehow, it hits deeper than it should. Okay, he says quietly. She doesn't push further. But she doesn't look away immediately either. And for a second, it feels like she's about to say something else. Something real. But she doesn't. Instead, she stands up. Let's go, she says. Where? She glances back at him. You forgot already? He frowns. Then, his chest tightens. After school. We're going out? She nods once. Don't be late. And just like that, she walks away, leaving him behind. Again. But this time, it doesn't feel like being ignored. It feels like being pulled forward into something he doesn't understand, something he can't control. After school, he waits. 5 minutes. 10. Students pass by, laughing, talking, living normally. And then, she appears. Different. Not in uniform. Her hair slightly down. Her expression softer. And for a moment, he forgets how to breathe. Let's go, she says. No explanation. No hesitation. He follows. Again. But this time, it feels more dangerous. Because this isn't school anymore. There's no audience. No performance. Just them. And whatever this really is. Their practice date starts simple. But into the moment so real. She pulls away first. And for the first time, she looks afraid. She doesn't tell him where they're going. She just walks. He follows half a step behind. Close enough to feel like they're together. Far enough to remind him they're not. The streets are quieter than school. No whispers. No stares. Just normal people living normal lives. And somehow, that makes this feel more intense. They stop in front of a small cafe. Warm lights. Soft music leaking through the door. She glances back at him. Remember the rules. His chest tightens. I know. She studies him for a second. Like she's checking something. Then, she pushes the door open. The bell rings softly. Inside, it's calm. A few people. Quiet conversations. No one recognizes her. No one cares. And suddenly, this feels less like a performance and more like something real. They sit across from each other. For a moment, neither of them speaks. No script. No audience. Just silence. Order anything, she says finally. He nods, but doesn't look at the menu. He's watching her. She looks different here. Softer. Less untouchable. Why this place, he asks. She pauses, then shrugs lightly. It's quiet. Of course it is. Everything about this was chosen carefully. The drinks arrive. He thanks the server quietly. She doesn't. Not because she's rude, but because she's distracted. Her fingers lightly trace the edge of her cup. You're nervous, he says. The words slip out. She freezes. Just for a second. Then, I'm not. He tilts his head slightly. You're tapping your fingers. Silence. She stops immediately. That doesn't mean anything. But her voice is softer now. Less controlled. And that's when he realizes. This isn't easy for her either. Why do you need this? He asks quietly. The question hangs in the air. She doesn't answer right away. Her eyes drop to her drink. Because I don't understand it, she says finally. Love? He asks. She nods once. I don't know what it's supposed to feel like. Her grip tightens slightly around the cup. Everyone talks about it like it's obvious. Like it just happens. A pause. But when someone confesses to me, her voice lowers. I don't feel anything. That lands heavier than expected. Nothing, he asks. She shakes her head. I smile. I say thank you. I give an answer they expect. Her expression doesn't change. But it's empty. Silence. And for the first time, he sees it clearly. This isn't a game to her. It's a problem. So I thought, she continues, if I try it, maybe I'll understand. Her eyes lift back to his. That's all this is. A test. A controlled environment. Safe. Because he doesn't matter. Because he won't complicate things. Because he won't make her feel anything. And if you do, he asks quietly. She blinks. If I do what? Feels something. Silence. A long one. Then, she looks away. That won't happen. Too fast. Too certain. Like she needs it to be true. Right, he says. But something shifts in his chest. Because now, he understands his role. Not a boyfriend. Not even a person, really. Just a way for her to experiment. And somehow, that hurts more than he expected. You can stop any time, she adds suddenly. He looks up. If it becomes uncomfortable. Her tone is calm. Controlled again. It's not uncomfortable, he says. That's not a lie. It's worse than that. He likes it. Too much. Good, she replies. They fall into silence again. But this time, it's heavier. More aware. More dangerous. A couple walks past their table. Laughing softly. Hands intertwined. He notices it. Then, so does she. Her gaze lingers, just a second too long. Do people always hold hands like that? She asks. The question is quiet, almost curious. Yeah, he says. Why? He hesitates. Because they want to. She frowns slightly. Want to, like the idea itself, is unfamiliar. It just feels right, he adds. Silence. She looks down at her hands. Then, slowly, she reaches across the table and takes his. His breath catches. Her hand is warm, but her grip is light, tentative. Like this, she asks softly. He can't answer. Because this doesn't feel like practice. This feels real. Too real. And that's when it happens. She freezes. Her fingers tighten slightly, then pull back. Fast. Too fast. Like she touched something she shouldn't have. That's enough, she says quickly. Her voice is different now. Unsteady. She looks away. Avoiding him. Avoiding something else. Did I do something wrong? He asks. No. Too fast. Then why? Because it's not part of the practice. Her tone sharpens. Wall's going back up. But it's too late. He saw it. That moment. That hesitation. That reaction. That wasn't empty. That wasn't controlled. That was real. And it scared her. Let's go, she says suddenly. She stands. Doesn't wait. He follows. Again. But this time, everything feels different. Because now, he knows something she didn't want him to see. And she knows he saw it. The walk back is silent. No acting. No touching. Just distance. And tension. When they reach the corner, she stops. Don't misunderstand today, she says. He looks at her. I won't. Another pause. Then, good. She turns. Starts to leave. But then, she hesitates. Just for a second. See you tomorrow. And she walks away, leaving him standing there. Alone again. But not the same. Because now, he knows. This isn't as one-sided as she thinks. And that changes everything. The next morning, rumors explode across the entire school. And someone decides to test their relationship in the worst possible way. By the next morning, everyone knows. Not just their class. Not just their grade. The entire school. Photos from the cafeteria. Videos from the stairwell. Even a blurry clip from outside the cafe. Every version of the same question. Why him? He feels at the moment he steps through the gate. Eyes on him. Not curious. Not impressed. Judging. Whispers follow him down the hallway. That's the guy. He looks normal. Not even that. He keeps walking. Head down. Same as always. But it doesn't work anymore. Because now, people see him. And it's worse than being invisible. At his locker, someone bumps into him on purpose. Hard. Watch it, the boy mutters. No apology. Just a look. The kind that says, you don't belong here. He says nothing. Just steps aside. Because that's what he always does. But today, it feels heavier. Because now he knows what it's like. To be noticed. And to lose it again. When he enters the classroom, it gets worse. Conversations stop. Heads turn. Then, they look away quickly. Like pretending not to stare makes it better. He sits down. Same seat. Same silence. But not the same feeling. Because now, there's tension in the air. Waiting. Watching. And then, she walks in. Like nothing happened. Calm. Perfect. Untouched. Every eye shifts to her. Then, to him. And that's when it happens. She walks straight past everyone. And sits next to him. No hesitation. No performance. Just normal. Morning, she says. Like yesterday didn't shake the entire school. Morning, he replies. His voice is quieter. More careful. Because now, everyone is listening. A girl from the front row turns around. Are you serious? She asks directly. No filter. No hesitation. The room holds its breath. She doesn't look up from her bag. About what? About him. The word lands like an insult. He stiffens slightly. But she doesn't react. I don't joke about things like that, she replies calmly. That should end it. But it doesn't. Why him? Another voice cuts in. Louder this time. More people turn. Because they all want the same answer. Why him? She finally looks up. Her gaze sweeps the room. Then settles. On him. For a split second. Something shifts. Then it's gone. Because I wanted to, she says simply. That's it. No explanation. No justification. Just a choice. The room goes quiet again. Not satisfied. but unable to push further, because she doesn't give them anything to grab onto. Classes pass slowly, too slowly. Every movement feels watched. Every whisper feels louder. And through all of it, she acts the same. Normal. Too normal. Like none of this affects her. At lunch, it happens. The thing she warned him about. The thing he wasn't ready for. They're sitting together again. Same table. Same distance. When someone approaches. A boy. Tall. Confident. Familiar. The same one from yesterday. He doesn't hesitate. Doesn't ask. He just pulls up a chair. And sits. Right next to her. "We need to talk," he says. Her expression doesn't change. "About." He glances at him. Just for a second. Then back at her. Alone. The message is clear. He's not supposed to be here. He feels it. The tension. The expectation. This is where he leaves. This is where he disappears again. But he doesn't move. Not this time. Silence stretches. Then she speaks. "You can say it here." The boy frowns. "Are you serious?" "Yes." Simple. Final. Another pause. Then he leans back slightly. "Fine." His eyes flick to him again. Sharp this time. "Are you actually dating him?" The question cuts through the air. Everyone nearby goes quiet. Listening. Waiting. She doesn't hesitate. "Yes." The word lands clean. Too clean. The boy laughs. Short. Disbelieving. "What?" There is again. That question. But this time, it's different. This time, it feels like a challenge. She doesn't answer immediately. Instead, she turns slightly and takes his hand. Right there, in front of everyone. Warm. Firm. Real. His breath catches. Because this isn't the stairwell. This isn't hidden. This is deliberate. "I don't need a reason," she says calmly. Her fingers tighten slightly around his. He's enough. Silence. The boy's expression hardens. "You're joking." "I'm not." Another pause. Then he leans forward. Closer. "Then prove it." The words hang in the air. "Dangerous." "How?" she asks. He smirks slightly. "Kiss him." Everything stops. Completely. No whispers. No movement. Just silence. In one impossible moment, his heart slams against his chest. Too fast. Too loud. She doesn't move. Doesn't react. Doesn't let go of his hand. But her grip tightens. Just slightly. And for the first time since all of this started, she hesitates. Because if she does it, everything changes. And if she doesn't, everything ends. The room doesn't breathe. No one moves. No one speaks. Because everyone knows. This isn't a joke anymore. "Do it," the boy repeats. Not loud. Not aggressive. Confident. Like he already knows the answer. Like he's waiting for her to fail. Her hand is still in his. Warm. Steady. But her fingers tighten again. He feels it. That small shift. That hesitation. This wasn't part of the plan. This wasn't in the rules. "No," she says. Simple. Immediate. The tension cracks. Just slightly. The boy smirks. "Knew it." Whispers start again. "I told you. It's fake." But she doesn't let go. Instead, she turns to him. And for a second, everything else disappears. Her eyes meet his. Not cold. Not controlled. Searching. Like she's asking something. Without words. His heart races. He doesn't understand the question. But he understands the feeling. And somehow, that's enough. "Wait," she says suddenly. The room stills again. The boy raises an eyebrow. "Change your mind." She doesn't answer him. Her focus stays on him. "Stay still," she whispers. Too quiet for anyone else to hear. His body freezes. Not because he's told to, but because he can't move. And then, she leans in. Close. Too close. His breath stops. Everything slows. The noise fades. The world narrows. To just this moment. Her face inches closer. Her eyes don't leave his. And for the first time, they're not empty. They're uncertain. Almost afraid. And then, she closes the distance. Their lips touch. Soft. Brief. Real. It only lasts a second. But feels longer. Too long. Because this doesn't feel like practice. This feels like something else entirely. Something neither of them prepared for. She pulls away first. Fast. Too fast. Her hand slips from his. Like she touched something she shouldn't have. Silence crashes back in. Loud. Overwhelming. There, she says. Her voice is steady. Too steady. Is that enough? No one answers. Because no one expected that. Not even him. The boy's smirk fades. You're serious, he mutters. She doesn't respond. She just picks up her bag. And stands. Let's go, she says. To him. Not to anyone else. He follows. Of course he does. But his mind is still back there. Still stuck in that moment. Still trying to understand. What has happened? They don't speak until they're outside. Far enough. Quiet enough. Safe enough. Then, she stops. Don't misunderstand, she says. Again. Always that. I won't, he replies. But this time, it feels like a lie. Because how can he not? She turns slightly. It was necessary. Necessary. The word feels wrong. Cold. Like it erases everything that just happened. Right, he says. Silence. But it's different now. Heavier. More fragile. Did it feel strange? She asks suddenly. The same question from last night. But now, it means something else. He hesitates. Then, yeah. A pause. Then, good, she says. But her voice isn't steady anymore. Not completely. He notices. Did it feel strange to you? He asks. She freezes. Just slightly. Then, no. Too fast. Too certain. And just like before. It doesn't sound true. They start walking again. Side by side. Not touching. Not close. But not distant either. Something in between. Something undefined. And that's when it happens. A group of girls passes by. They whisper loudly. She actually kissed him. I can't believe it. He looks away. Used to it. But she slows down. Just slightly. Ignore them, she says. Her voice is quieter now. Less confident. And for a second, it almost sounds like she's telling herself. At the gate, she stops again. We'll continue tomorrow. Like nothing changed. Like everything is still under control. Okay, he replies. But neither of them moves right away. Because something did change. Something they can't ignore anymore. She turns to leave, then pauses. About earlier, her voice stops. Like she doesn't know how to finish the sentence. Then, just forget it. And she walks away. Faster this time. Like she needs distance. Like she needs space to breathe. He stands there. Alone. But not the same. Because now, there's something between them. Something real. Something dangerous. And neither of them knows what to do with it. The next day, she starts avoiding him. And for the first time, he realizes the biggest threat to their relationship isn't other people. It's a running away from what she felt. The next morning, she doesn't sit next to him. Not at lunch. Not in class. Not anywhere. At first, he thinks he's early. Then, he realizes she's avoiding him. Deliberately. She walks into the classroom and takes a different seat. Not even a glance. Not even a pause. Like yesterday never happened. Like the kiss. Meant nothing. The room notices immediately. Whispers return. See? I knew it wouldn't last. That was fast. He hears all of it. But none of it matters. Because the only thing he's looking at is her. And she won't look back. Lunch feels longer than usual. He sits alone again. Same table. Same silence. But now, it feels louder. Because he knows what it's like to not be alone. And now it's gone. Halfway through, she walks past him. Not stopping. Not slowing. Just passing by. Like he's invisible again. And that hurts more than anything before. After school, he waits. Same spot. Same time. Because she said, don't be late. So he isn't. 5 minutes pass. Then 10. Then 20. She doesn't come. He checked his phone. No messages. Nothing. Of course. Because she never promised she would. He just assumed. And that was his mistake. You're still waiting? The voice cuts through his thoughts. He looks up. The same boy. Confident. Calm. Watching. Why, the boy asks. No hostility this time. Just curiosity. He doesn't answer. Because he doesn't know how to explain it. She's done with you. The boy says simply. The words hit. Harder than expected. You don't know that, he replies quietly. The boy tilts his head slightly. I don't need to. A pause. She's like that. That makes him look up. Like what? The boy shrugs. Careful. A beat. She doesn't do things she can't control. Silence. Then why did she choose me? He asks. The boy studies him for a moment. Then, that's the part one don't understand either. And with that, he walks away, leaving him with a question he can't answer. The next day, nothing changes. She still avoids him, still doesn't look at him, still acts like none of this exists. And slowly, the whispers shift. It's over. Told you it was fake. Maybe they're right. Maybe it was always going to end like this. Quietly, without explanation, without closure. But then, on the third day, it happens. After school, as he's leaving, someone grabs his sleeve. He freezes, turns. It's her. Come with me, she says. No greeting, no explanation. Just that. He doesn't hesitate. He follows. Of course he does. She leads him to the same stairwell, the same place where it started. But it feels different now. Heavier, tense. She lets go of his sleeve and turns away. Why did you wait? She asks suddenly. The question catches him off guard. What? You waited, she repeats. Her voice is quieter now. Why? He doesn't answer immediately. Because the truth feels too simple. Because you said to, he replies. Silence. Then, that's not a reason. He frowns slightly. Then what is? She turns back to him, and for the first time in days, their eyes meet. You could have left, she says. I didn't want to. The words come out before he can stop them. And this time, they hang in the air. Unfiltered. Real. Her expression shifts. Just slightly. That's exactly the problem, she whispers. His chest tightens. What is? She looks away again. You're taking it seriously. There it is. The line. The rule he broke. And you're not. He asks quietly. Silence. A long one. Then, I can't. Not I don't. I can't. That difference matters. Why, he asks. Her hands clench slightly. Because if I do, she stops. Like the rest of the sentence is too dangerous to say. If you do what? He presses. She shakes her head. It doesn't matter, but it does. It matters more than anything. Then why did you kiss me? He asks. The question breaks through everything. Sharp, direct, impossible to ignore. She freezes. Completely. That was part of the act, she says. But her voice isn't steady. Not even close. No, it wasn't, he replies. A beat. You hesitated. Silence. You pulled away. Another beat. You were scared. Her breath catches. Just slightly. But enough. Stop, she says quietly. Why, he asks. Because now, he's closer to the truth. And she knows it. Because you're wrong. But it doesn't sound convincing. Not anymore. He steps closer. Not touching. But not distant either. Then look at me and say it again. Silence. She doesn't move. Doesn't speak. Doesn't look at him. And that is the answer. Because the moment she finally looks up, she's forced to choose. Keep pretending. Or admit something she's been running from all along. She doesn't look up. Not immediately. Her hands are clenched. Her breathing uneven. Like something inside her is breaking. Quietly. Look at me, he says again. Not louder. Not forceful. Just certain. And this time, she does. Slowly. Their eyes meet. And everything she's been hiding is there. Not empty. Not distant. Messy. Confused. Real. You're wrong, she says. But her voice barely holds. Then why won't you say it properly? He asks. Silence. Say what? She whispers. That it didn't mean anything. The words hang between them. Simple. Clear. And impossible. Her lips part. Then close. No sound comes out. Because she can't. You can't even lie about it, he says quietly. That's what breaks her. Not loudly. Not dramatically. But enough. I don't understand it, she admits. Finally, her voice cracks slightly. I don't understand what I felt. He doesn't move. Doesn't interrupt. Because this is what she's been running from. It wasn't empty, she continues. Her hands loosen slowly. And that's the problem. A pause. I didn't plan for that. Of course she didn't. Because feelings don't follow rules. Then why run away? He asks. She looks down briefly. Because I was scared. There it is. Not confusion. Not control. Fear. Of what? He asks. Her fingers tighten again. Of losing control. A beat. Of not being able to treat this like practice anymore. Silence. And of hurting you. That one lands differently. He didn't expect that. You already did, he says quietly. She flinches. Not visibly. But enough. I know. Her voice softens. That's why I stopped. Now it makes sense. Not rejection. Not indifference. Avoidance. You stopped because it was becoming real, he says. She nods. And I don't know how to handle real. The honesty is raw, unpolished. Nothing like the perfect girl everyone sees. Just human. And for the first time, he sees her clearly. Not as someone untouchable, but as someone lost. Just like him. Then learn, he says. She blinks. What? Learn it. Simple. Direct. With me. The words hang in the air. Different from before. Not an agreement. Not a role. An offer. Real. Her eyes widen slightly. That's not how this was supposed to work. Then maybe it was never supposed to be practice, he replies. Silence. Long. Heavy. Because this changes everything. No rules. No safety. Just risk. And if I mess it up? She asks quietly. Then we deal with it, he says. No hesitation. And if I hurt you again? He pauses. Then, you probably will. That makes her freeze. But I still want to try. Because that's what this is now. Not practice. A choice. She looks at him. Really looks. Not analyzing. Not measuring. Just seeing. And for the first time, she doesn't look away. You're different, she says softly. Ow. You don't make it feel complicated. A small pause. You just stay. He doesn't respond. Because he doesn't need to. Another silence. But this one isn't tense. It's calm. Uncertain. But not running. Slowly, she steps closer. Not forced. Not practiced. Just natural. Her hand lifts slightly. Hesitates. Then, she takes his hand. Again. But this time, there's no rule behind it. No audience. No reason. Just choice. Does this feel right? She asks quietly. He looks at her. Yeah. A small pause. You? She doesn't answer immediately. Because this time, she's not rushing. Not forcing it. Just feeling. And then, a small nod. Yeah. No big moment. No dramatic confession. Just something simple. Something real. And somehow, that's enough. They don't call it a relationship. Not yet. They don't define it. Don't label it. Because they don't need to. But as they walk out of the stairwell, side by side, not distant, not performing, just together, something has changed. Not suddenly. Not perfectly. But enough. Because this time, it's not practice anymore. It's real. And for the first time, neither of them is running.